Hello, my name is Chris, and today I'd like to talk to you about those days when so many things seem to be going wrong that we start to question if there isn't some kind of worldwide conspiracy going on against us. Like the whole world is conspiring to stop us from doing what we need to do or having what we want to have. It's all those small things that build up through the day and start to get us more annoyed and more stressed out as the day goes on, to the point that we just say screw it and reach for a cigarette or alcohol or something that ultimately damages us, but in that short little period of time makes us feel better. And I'm going to talk about how we can deal with those kind of days without saying screw it. The kind of days I'm talking about, we've all had them, right? Maybe you're having one now. I do hope not. But if you are, hopefully we'll feel better about it by the time the day ends. There are no tragedies. Nobody dies. Nobody breaks up with us. Nothing terrible happens. It's just all those small things that get more and more stressful as the day goes on. Maybe we start off in the morning, we go to have breakfast and there's no milk. Or maybe there's milk and it's gone sour and we can't eat it because it would be disgusting. It's annoying, it's inconvenient, but we're like, hey, I'm a positive, happy, calm person, so I'm not going to let this get to me. Then we get in the car and the car won't start. I'm like, well, okay, this is also annoying, but it's fine, it's fine. Then we get stuck in traffic. We're starting to get more tense and annoyed now. We get to work and we think, do you know what? I'm going to have a nice cup of coffee and that will make me feel better. And then somebody bumps into us and the coffee goes flying. I'm like, why is all these things happening to me? Why is nothing going right? We try to brush it off, we get on with our day, and then at some point some small thing will happen. Maybe we're writing something and our pen runs out. And it's like, that is it. There's so much annoying little things have happened that this is the last straw. This is the one that makes us go, ah, and makes us reach for the screw it button. You know the screw it button, right? The big red button that we hit when we've just about had enough and we say screw it. You know what? I'm having a terrible day. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to go and overeat. I'm going to do whatever it is that I know is bad for me, but I'm so fed up today of things going wrong that I'm just going to do it anyway because I need something, anything to change the way that I feel. It's the button we hit when we say, do you know what? I'm fed up of this. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm a kind person, I'm a positive person, I'm making good positive changes in my life, I've quit smoking, I'm getting sober, I'm losing weight, whatever it may be. I'm trying to do good things, and yet the only rewards I'm getting for doing good things are that it seems like the universe is taking a big old crap on me. So screw it, I'm going to hit this button and I'm going to smoke or get drunk or overeat or whatever it may be. And we do that because for so long that is our default setting. I'm having a bad day, I'm going to reach for this damaging thing to give me a short bit of temporarily change the way I feel, even though I know afterwards it's only going to make me worse. We don't really want to do that. If we look inside ourselves, it's not really what we want to do. But we are so caught up in our feeling that we can't separate ourselves from it and analyse why we're feeling like this and do anything about it. It's like the feeling itself is just like this what's the word? Like a hurricane kind of thing, and it catches us up inside it and spins us around and we're sort of helpless. We are at the mercy of our emotions and it's like, I've got to go and do this thing now. But no, we don't have to. I had one of these days myself recently, and again it was all small little things. There's this particular brand of tea that I liked and I ran out and I had to go and find more, and it's like every shop I went in they didn't have the tea. Then I had this small window of opportunity to go and get a haircut, and the hairdresser was out on lunch, so I couldn't get a haircut that day. Then I went to cycle to the train station to go to school, and there was nowhere to park my bike, and then the train was delayed. And it's like all day long I was like, I'm going to be positive about this, I'm going to be calm about this. Underneath I'm getting more and more tense and more angry, to the point where the train was delayed, and I was just like, oh my God, this is one of those days where the world is against me. Instead of getting caught up in that emotion, instead of getting caught up in the hurricane, or there's a better word than hurricane, I can't think of it. I can see it in my head, but I can't think of it, so we'll just skip that bit. Instead of getting caught up in that emotion, I've learned over time to sort of become aware of my emotions, to not get caught up in them, but to be able to take a step back from them and think about what is really going on for me. This didn't come easy to me at first. It came over a long period of time of doing a lot of journaling and self-reflection and things like that, so that I could start to become mindful of how I react in certain situations, how I react according to different emotions, so that I could identify this. You know, I have a thing with anxiety that quite often my body knows that I'm anxious before my brain does. Like my jaw starts to hurt. So I know that if my jaw is hurting, then I can just go, hang on a minute, something is going on for me here. I need to stop and take a step back and detail why I'm anxious. The same with somebody commented on one of my videos a couple of days ago asking about, like, they were quitting smoking and they were finding that they were just stopping breathing. I get that. We were just talking about it at school on Monday. Like, you just sit there and go, I'm not breathing, what is going on? And quite often I'll notice that, like, this means I'm anxious about something, or it means I'm stressed about something. Let's deal with it. The same with being annoyed or being stressed or being angry. I can start to notice how I behave when I'm like that, so that I can identify it and take a step back from it, so that I no longer have to be held hostage by my emotions. Because when I'm held hostage by my emotions, I just do what they want. Like, oh my goodness, I'm angry and I'm stressed, so I'm going to smoke or drink or whatever it may be. Instead, I can learn to identify, okay, I'm stressed and angry right now. Let's take a step back. Let's look at what is really going on and what I can do about it that is healthy and constructive. Case in point, I'm on the train and I'm feeling like, I'm going to be late. And I start to question, like, am I really annoyed that the train is this the thing that is really bothering me right now in my life, that the train is delayed? When I look into it, turns out no, it is not. I can do a lot of journaling. In fact, I've got my journal here because I'm going to read to you soon. Like, I started writing all this stuff down. Like, what is really going on for me? Quite often when I do that, I find that it isn't the small things that I'm really annoyed about. When I start to dive into it, sometimes I can identify that it was a big thing that happened that I haven't dealt with. Maybe it was bereavement, or, you know, somebody broke up with me, or somebody said something that was hurtful to me and I didn't process it. So I'm starting to take my anger at them, and because I didn't deal with that in any natural way, I take my anger from them and direct it into, really mad about this train being late, or I'm really mad at my hairdresser for not being there when I needed to get a haircut. Other times it's not so obvious, but a lot of the time it can come back down to a simple thing, that I'm annoyed and stressed out because I feel threatened and I feel like my safety is threatened. I worked this out through doing some journaling, and I'll just read to you what I wrote so that hopefully it makes more sense. I wrote, I know that if I think about it, it isn't really the little things that have pissed me off. I'm not that annoyed about the train being late. If I dive into it, I'm annoyed about my plans being disrupted, because I'm annoyed I'm annoyed because when everything goes according to plan, I am able to enjoy the illusion that I am in control. And when I feel like I am in control, I feel safe. I feel safe because I feel that me being in control means everything will turn out the way that I want it to turn out. And when you strip everything away, when you forget about houses and cars and money and wealth, the way that I want things to turn out are for me to be safe, for me to have a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my stomach, and to be loved. So when things don't go according to plan, it tells me that I am not in control. Therefore, there is a chance that things will not turn out the way that I want them to turn out. Therefore, I might not be safe, I might not have security, love, food, shelter, all of that. Ultimately, what all of this comes down to is that when things don't go my way, I feel threatened. And then I wrote, and guess what I need to do is to step out, taking moments like this to remember that even if things don't go my way, it is okay. I am still loved, I am still secure, I am still safe. And that was like, whoo! That gave me a complete 180 from how I was feeling to how, I felt afterwards. I went from being really annoyed and like, the train was late and everything was going wrong to, do you know what? It's okay. The train can be late. It isn't a threat to my safety, even though I realise now that is what is going on for me. I recognise that it can be hard to go from this very emotional, I'm angry, I'm annoyed, I'm about to hit the screw it switch or the screw it button state, to being able to step back from the emotions and process and deal with them. It's taken me a lot of practice learning a lot of different techniques. One of them is something that I've shared with you before, which is visualising all my stress and all my anger as a big locomotive train hurtling down the track, and it's going so fast and it's going at such full force that eventually it's going to crash and explode, and that explosion will be me engaging in self-destructive behaviour. What I do is I visualise this, and then I also visualise the brake for the train is like this huge lever that I can grab onto and sort of just pull and slow down and stop the train. It's just getting into that mindset, and just having this visual starts to change the way I think. I've just quite literally put the brakes on my annoyance, on my stress, on my anger. And then I can use certain questions to get myself from the emotional state into a cognitive way of thinking. I can use grounding questions like, what can I see right now? What can I touch? What can I hear? What can I taste or smell? It gets me in a different way of thinking. When I'm being held hostage by my emotions, when it feels like the whole world is going against me, then it's very difficult, or I'm just focused on, I'm stressed, I'm angry, blah, blah, blah. Whereas when I start thinking cognitively about it, I identify that I am stressed and angry, but I'm not actually feeling stressed and angry in that moment. I'm just thinking about it. And then I can go and get my journal out and write things like that, or just think about how I'm feeling and, do something differently. It takes practice, but it can be done. There's something else before I go that I want to point out. This might not be something that everyone agrees with, but I'll point it out anyway. Is that sometimes when it feels like everything is going wrong and the universe is going against you, if you want to think about things spiritually, maybe it's that all those things are directing you, are guiding you, are trying to put you where you need to be when you need to be there. Maybe there is a lesson that you need to learn, or that whatever you are trying to do isn't right for you. On this day that I shared with you, when everything kept going wrong and like my hairdresser wasn't there and I couldn't find this tea and all that stuff, to me they were both equally powerful, but when I share them with you, one of them might not sound as much. Like the first thing that I'm going to share with you might sound a bit trivial, but basically what happened was, I mentioned I was looking for this tea and I tried like every shop. I tried every shop in the town where I live, and then I went to Liverpool where I go to school, and I went to go to the supermarket that I normally go to, and the supermarket had closed down. So then I had to go to another supermarket where I knew for definite they would have this tea, and as I'm walking to go and find the aisle where the tea is kept, I walk past the milk, and something triggers in my brain that I don't have any milk at home. There's nothing for my cereal in the morning. Maybe, weirdly, I was like guided here to remember to get the milk and then the tea. Whereas in the other shops, I didn't walk past the milk first. It was only in this one last shop. That sounds quite trivial, like as if the universe is going to work, to conspire to get me to get some milk. But it was just one of those things that like everything kind of worked out that way. The other one was a bit more profound for me. I had all this stuff, and then I wrote it down, and I came to the realization that what I'm annoyed about is that I am not in control, and because I'm not in control, I feel less safe. Then I went to school and I was working with someone, and they were talking about control and wanting to be in control. And I just thought, I'll take a risk here, and I said, sometimes when we feel we're not in control, it worries us because it's about safety and we feel less safe. And this person went, yes, that's it, that's what I've been trying to get at. And I was able, with that, to have like this breakthrough and this connection with this person. I was able to help this person on that day. It was like this, the whole day had been teaching me, had been leading me to come to this realization about control and safety, just so that at the end of the day, I could help another person. Just as I hope this has in some way helped you. I sort of feel like this video has been all over the place today, but I wanted to put it out there because it's been on my mind for a while, and I thought that, if I'm dealing with days like this, then maybe you are too, and maybe just one small thing that I've said is able to help you in some small way. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If this is your first time watching my videos, then please do consider subscribing for more weekly videos on things like quitting smoking, depression, dealing with days like I've just talked about today, and other stuff as well. For regular ongoing support with your quit, please come join us on Facebook at Finding Freedom. The link is down in the description below. I think it's facebook.com/groups/findingfreedom1. For regular bonus videos and exclusive content, come join me on Patreon, patreon.com/Chris Scoyles. Until then, I will say thank you again so much for watching. Please do let me know in the comments how you are doing on your journey. I look forward to speaking with you again next week. Goodbye.